Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Forget Yellowstone's next spin-off. I need a 1923 prequel about Helen Mirren's Cara Dutton. There's been a lot of talk about the next Yellowstone prequel, but after 1923 Season 2's finale, the story I'm dying to see is one about Helen Mirren's Cara Dutton. Spencer Dutton's aunt makes a fierce stand for their land at the end of 1923 Season 2, using Jacob's Harrison Ford elk rifle to defend the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch from Banner Creighton, Jerome Flynn, and Donald Whitfield's Timothy Dalton army. Cara is a sharpshooter in the finale, and her kills are crucial to the Duttons holding off its attackers until Spencer arrives to finish the job. Cara acts as a skilled sniper in 1923's finale, and it isn't the first time we've seen her step up and defend the ranch. In the opening scene of 1923 Season 1, Cara shoots one of Creighton's men who attempts to escape after the attack on the Dutton family, killing him with a shotgun. Helen Mirren's powerhouse performance proves that Cara is one of the best Dutton family members. Yellowstone's audience deserves a deeper look at who Cara is after her incredible role protecting Elizabeth Strafford, Michelle Randolph, and her family in 1923 Season 2. 1923 Season 2's finale looks at what's next for Cara after the Duttons defeat their attackers. While Spencer's wife, Alexandra Dutton, Julia Schlatfer, dies of complications from hypothermia, she lives long enough to deliver her baby John. After Alex's death, Cara steps in to raise Spencer and Alex's baby, sending a Yellowstone ranch hand for goats so that the premature baby has fresh milk. Cara solidifies her future as John Dutton II's caretaker when she says goodbye to Jack Dutton's, Darren Mann, wife as Elizabeth Strafford leaves the Yellowstone ranch, cradling the baby on the porch. While we know what's next for Cara, I want to know what came before her 1923 story. We know from Elsa Dutton's narration in 1923 that Jacob and Cara moved to Montana in 1894, assuming control of the Yellowstone Ranch after James, Tim McGraw, and Margaret Dutton, Faith Hill, died. While her time on the ranch certainly forged some of Cara's hardier qualities, I want to see a Yellowstone prequel about Cara's backstory before she moved to Montana. Cara is an Irish immigrant. Like Alex Dutton, she probably has an incredible story to tell, one worth hearing. After watching her hold down the fort for the majority of 1923's finale, it's safe to say that Cara Dutton is the most compelling main character in 1923. While her nephew, Spencer Dutton, is the straightforward hero expected to save the ranch, Cara's heroic role is just as significant. As a rancher's wife and woman past middle age, Cara defies expectations by playing such a major role in the tactical war, making her sharpshooting skills all the more satisfying. Zane Davis, Brian Girardi, underscores this in 1923's final episode, saying he thought the boys were making lucky shots. While Spencer saves the day in the end, a closer look at the whole of 1923 proves that Cara was the Yellowstone Ranch's hero all along. She cares for Jack's wife amid the horrible things happening to Elizabeth Strafford. She tends to Jacob's ailments, saving him from life-threatening gunshot wounds after Banner Creighton's attack. She steps in for Jacob at the Montana Livestock Commission, saving face for the Dutton family, while enacting a plan to provide the town with proper law enforcement. 1923's finale proves that Cara is the Dutton family's backbone, and there's more of her character to explore. Despite shining in 1923 Season 2's finale, Cara Dutton was involved in one of 1923's biggest disappointments. Since Cara is holding it down at the ranch, she's unable to meet Alex Dutton at the hospital while she's still alive. When Cara arrives with Spencer, she gives her nephew private time with his severely ill wife, opting not to meet Alex while she had the chance, which was gracious and wise. 1923's finale even makes the point that Cara doesn't meet Alex on two separate occasions. once at the hospital, and once back at the ranch while she holds her baby. The dialogue highlights the disappointment that Cara Dutton never met Alex, reflecting how fans feel about the development. 1923's finale implies that they were alike, with Jacob referring to Cara and Alex as shooting stars. Many fans, myself included, would have preferred that Alex lived to meet Cara and the rest of the 1923 Dutton family. She could have told them her story and lived to raise her child as she helped Spencer run the ranch. Still, we could see Julia Schlapfer's Alex Dutton comeback in 1944. Likewise, giving Cara Dutton more time in the Yellowstone franchise is worth considering. Let's be honest, Yellowstone has spun its Western magic across generations, captivating us with its blend of rugged ranch life, simmering family tension, and enough drama to make Shakespeare's head spin. From the flagship series to the richly textured prequel 1923, it's been a wild ride. But with the buzz around what the next spin-off might be, I find myself shouting at the television, "Forget that, give us more Cara Dutton." Because if Helen Mirren's steely-eyed, shotgun-wielding Cara Dutton doesn't deserve her own origin story, then what are we even doing here? There's something electrifying about Cara. She doesn't just exist in the Dutton universe, she anchors it. Where Jacob Dutton, played by Harrison Ford, is the stoic patriarch, Cara is the quiet storm. She's both matriarch and mercenary, with a grace that barely hides her unshakable strength. And yet, we only get glimpses of how she became that woman. The woman who can fire a rifle without flinching, stand down cowboys without blinking, and grieve while maintaining her family's entire legacy. So, what would a prequel look like? Picture this. Cara, 1883, yes, we're leaning into the symmetry. We open in rural Ireland, sometime in the 1860s. The famine has left deep scars, not just on the land, but in the people. Young Cara McConnell is barely a teenager, red-haired and fierce, a girl too wild for the church and too clever for domesticity. Her father is a tenant farmer, a broken man with a broken back and a heart full of old Celtic legends. Her mother sings songs that sound like spells and stitches stories into her daughter's dresses. But there's no future here, not for girls like Cara. Her escape? America, or, more accurately, the myth of it. The way stories make it sound like a land of milk and honey, where women can reinvent themselves and never look back. She boards a ship alone, the sea as violent as her thoughts, the future unknown. We follow her through the streets of New York, where Irish immigrants are called names and crammed into alleys. She learns to fight, learns to steal, gets a job as a maid in a politician's mansion, learns how to hold a fork the right way, how to speak softly while thinking sharply. She meets radicals, women who talk about suffrage and unions, and burning the whole rotten system to the ground. Her heart beats faster, her mind opens wider. And then she meets Jacob Dutton. Not Harrison Ford's Jacob. This one's younger, reckless, still figuring out who he is. He's passing through town on his way west, dusty boots and a smile that's too charming for his own good. He's buying cattle, looking for land, chasing some dream of owning something that no one can take away from him. Their romance isn't gentle, it's a wildfire. They argue, they kiss, they part, and then they fight each other again. He tells her she'd never survive Montana. She tells him he'd never survive without her. So she goes. Cut to Montana Territory, 1885. Life is brutal. The winters are teeth. Wolves howl like ghosts, but Cara thrives. She builds fires that never go out. She teaches herself how to hunt, how to birth calves, how to read weather patterns in the clouds. The other ranch wives whisper about her, too sharp, too foreign, too fearless. But Cara doesn't need their approval. She's building an empire, not of money or land, but of endurance. And then comes the tragedy. A child lost, maybe two, maybe more, because let's not pretend the frontier spared mothers. Grief is stitched into Cara's soul like thread into her skirts. But she doesn't collapse, she channels it. Turns sorrow into strength, softness into steel. She buries the pain under hard work and harder love. She becomes the kind of woman who can stare down a man 3 times her size. The kind of woman whose silence carries more weight than a shout. The kind of woman who raises not just her own children, but others too. She becomes, in a word, formidable.